Caddis Maximus here, this time with a quick review of a Skyway Precision Tool Company aircraft style torque wrench. Or it's specifically a fixed head torque wrench. It's non-ratcheting and it makes it a low profile. In this case, not vertically, but as far as the diameter and the end of the torque wrench, it is pretty compact. These do operate only in a clockwise direction. As with most click-type torque wrenches, this is apparently a vintage unit, and one of the reasons I'm making a video on it is I've actually had it before I started doing any YouTube stuff, and I guess I just never had made a video. I got this a long time ago, 15 years ago at least, back when I used to put my name and phone number on my tools like I shouldn't be, because of course, you know, I guess for me, I do plan on keeping them for a long time, but I do sell tools, and of course, when you try to sell a tool that has your name etched on it, it does hurt its value. What I do more nowadays on a tool that I really want to mark is I'll put like a custom, it'll look like a serial number, but it'll just be my own custom kind of password etched on the tool. These are vintage. This company is not around anymore, and they apparently were a contract manufacturer of some type. It has proven to be difficult to find any information on it, and that's part of why I'm making this video, is because there are other companies that are even called Skyway Precision or Skyway Tools. There's a Skyway Tool Company out of California, but they're just a reseller. And then Skyway Precision is like, you know, a machine shop and precision cast manufacturer. Neither of which are related to this Skyway tool. And so I wanted to make a video because these are apparently a relatively rare torque wrench. There is a few listings, and searching on Google and eBay and completed listings, there was like a socket adapter from Skyway. And there was apparently a couple of these T-handle style torque wrenches, which look pretty interesting to me. This one's in inch-pounds, and it's from 100 to 800 inch-pounds, so a decent range. The only other information I could find is there's this website, Apex something, and they did a torque wrench test, and they actually had one of these exact models, this ST750A1. When we find it, so yeah, there's the ST750A1, and then it has this stock number, which I assume is like the contract order for this particular style torque wrench. Anyway, they were doing torque tests, and at 700 inch-pounds, and they were doing 4 pulls. On the 4th pull, it just said torque wrench fell apart, and I was really disappointed to see it was in one of these. Plus, it wasn't particularly accurate. This one I've given a few drops of oil and had and do so every year, and it's actually pretty darn accurate. Even for apparently being quite old, it does show that it's been calibrated at some point. They put solder over the threads or whatever you use to take apart or calibrate a torque wrench to show that it hasn't been tampered with. And in many times those calibration screws you really do need to secure. And then they dig, I don't know if they melt it out, or I think they just melt out the solder when you take it to get it recalibrated. This one's kind of interesting because the lock collar is actually not spring-loaded. It has a detent, and it just snaps back, and of course you can crank it up or twist it down just like any other type of micrometer torque wrench. And then slide the collar forward if you're not quite on the right spot. Oh, come on now. There we go. It's a little sticky every once in a while, and if you're not in the right spot, then the collar won't move forward. The only other comment about this torque wrench is I do like that it has a pretty solid click. That really is a click. Most click type torque wrenches don't really have a definitive click. You could just feel it kind of break over that little breakover point, and you know you've reached your torque setting. Right when a torque wrench breaks over that hump, right when it does that break, is the torque setting. It's not you go past the break until the torque wrench, you know, stops. You've actually over torqued in that situation. So remember, with the click types, you're pulling, and then as soon as it gives, as soon as you feel it give and go past that hump is when you stop. And one other odd thing about this torque wrench is for some reason they've got the solder up here on the top of the head, which I've never seen before. And then the way they got this tube welded to this cross, I guess that's you call out a shaft, that piece of steel. It almost looks like it's electro welded because it's just real interesting. You can see just how You know, there's just isn't no splatter or anything. It's almost like it was glued. So I assumed that it was like a electric spot welder, but in this case it was the tube in this, and they just stuck them together with a high voltage and a high current, and it just electrically welded it. And since I do talk about knurling a lot on tools, this Skyway, of course, has just absolutely beautiful knurling. You know, this is all basically textbook grade knurling. Let me go and zoom in quite a bit here. That way you can see what textbook knurling is just like this. I don't know if we, yes, you can. It's like little perfect pyramids. The cross hatches going one direction or this direction are all even. And it almost looks like the little pyramids have the tops cut off, or there may be little craters in the tops. And that's what a perfect knurling looks like. So anyway, I just wanted to do a review of this Skyway torque wrench because there was basically no hits on Google. There was a hit on YouTube, but it was for, you know, some tools that came from that Skyway Tools reseller. It wasn't about this Skyway Precision Tool Company out of San Gabriel, California. And as far as I can tell, they are a really pretty neat torque wrench. And if you ever see one used or something, that's where it's going to turn up, or a pawn shop or something, it'd be worth picking up as long as they aren't charging some arm and a leg. Sometimes some of those stores can really just say, oh, it's an old American torque wrench, we're going to put some outrageous price on it. And of course people will be able to find some information. And then of course it would go along with this proto fixed head torque wrench. So fixed head torque wrenches aren't just for exclusive weird manufacturers from a long time ago. They're also for more modern ones. As you say, I paid $29 for this one, which is definitely a plenty good value for a proto torque wrench. And these fixed head torque wrenches are actually pretty nice just because they do fit into some really tight situations. And because they don't have a ratchet mechanism, you always feel just a little bit more directly connected to the fastener. Maybe a little bit hard to kind of describe because, you know, when you're using even with a ratchet torque wrench, once you're applying the torque, there's no flexing going on. But nonetheless, just working with fixed head torque wrenches is always kind of nice. It's like working with breaker bars, a similar type of feeling. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.